Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Tracy Southwick, and I'm the owner of Heights of Health, a natural health clinic in Houston, where we focus on mind and body wellness. Today we're going to talk about mosquito prevention. This is part one of a series of 3 short webinars. I'm trying to keep them short for you. I know how valuable your time is. But the first one, we're going to talk about how to protect yourself and your loved ones by reducing exposure to mosquitoes. So reducing exposure around the house and also helping you not be so tasty to the mosquitoes. So we'll talk about that today. The next time we're going to be talking about the dangers, the positive and the negative actually, of chemical mosquito sprays. So you can make an informed decision and some alternatives there. And then we'll talk about how to mitigate the effects, the health effects of those mosquito sprays on your system, what you can do to help detox some of those chemicals. And then in the third brief webinar, we'll actually talk about ways to improve your immune system so that if and when you do get bitten by mosquitoes, you have a strong immune system and you're going to be a lot less likely to have a mosquito-borne illness take over your body. So, like I said, today we're going to talk about reducing the risk of mosquito exposure and also natural mosquito repellents that really work. Some of these tips you've probably heard before, but hopefully I'll give you some information that you haven't heard before so that you can make some changes that will be even more effective in your journey, your desire to keep mosquitoes at bay. So, how do we prevent mosquito bites? We're going to reduce the population around your home, and we're also going to reduce the chance they'll be drawn to you. So, I apologize. This is the first time I've used this recording webinar program, so that the top of this screen is cut off. But what it says is no standing water. I know everybody's heard this a million times, but it only takes a teaspoon of water to be still for a week. A teaspoon of water for a week for mosquitoes to be able to hatch. So, how do we get rid of that standing water? Obviously, walking around your yard and being aware of where that standing water is, but look places that you wouldn't normally look, like in alleys behind your houses. Mosquitoes can come from a long way away, so encourage your neighbors in front of your neighbors' lawns. Kids' toys get turned upside down and filled with water buckets. One of the worst is the little platters you have underneath your plants. They collect water, and mosquitoes love to breed there. And if you've got a pier and beam house like I did in Houston, any water that is standing underneath that is just heyday material for the mosquitoes. So definitely take a good look around your house regularly and remove that standing water. But as we all know, there are some places where you can't remove the standing water. For instance, if you have a fountain or if you have a ditch in front of your house or behind your house as a water catchment system, something like that, or a bird bath. There is a natural alternative that's not harmful to the environment. This bacillus bacteria called BTI, I'm not even going to try to butcher that word, or that bacteria, but BTI is what it's called. You can put that in the water and it actually eats the larvae, the mosquitoes, before they hatch. So it's a great way to help keep those mosquitoes from reproducing. I did look online, and on Amazon they have something called Bonide Mosquito Beater. There are 2 different products that I saw that they carry, and one is actually a liquid that you pour in, and it seems like that might have some chemicals in it. I didn't look too carefully, but make sure that you get the BTI bacteria one, and they're in little sachets that you put into the water, and it's maybe 1 sachet per 100 square feet of water. I mean, they thrive pretty well, but it's a great natural way to keep the mosquitoes at bay. Mosquito repellent plants can be quite effective, especially if you put them around your patio or if you have a front porch. The thing with those is just by sitting still, they're not going to repel the mosquitoes. So if you're going out on your front porch and you've got some lavender, some rosemary, some lemon balm planted up there, just ruffle up the plants so that you get the essential oils in the air, and that will help get or keep the mosquitoes at bay. Fans are a wonderful solution. Mosquitoes are very poor flyers. One of the problems I see people making, though, is they'll have an overhead fan maybe on the front porch, but that doesn't get to your feet. So you need to find a fan that you can put on the ground that will blow across people's ankles and feet, because as we all know, mosquitoes love our ankles and our feet, and we're usually, especially in Houston, in flip-flops in the summer, or sandals. So you're just open game for those mosquitoes. So keep the fan blowing, but make sure all the body, all the area is affected by the fan in a positive way. Candles and diffusers can be somewhat helpful. They're not going to be helpful if you've got a fan going, so that's kind of out of the question. Don't waste your time or energy. Be careful about the candles, because a lot of those candles have chemicals in them. In fact, the mosquito coils have close to 100 different chemicals in them. They're very, very toxic, so don't use those coils if you can get away with it. But if you are going to use a candle, like a citronella candle, get a natural citronella candle. Don't get one that's the chemical ones that you would find typically at the grocery store. Get a natural-based candle, or a diffuser is even better. And actually, if you can't get a fan at your feet, then you could put a diffuser at your feet, and that would help keep the mosquitoes away there too. Bats, used very frequently in the hill country, are great ways to keep mosquitoes from becoming very popular. The problem with bats, of course, is the rabies concern. So if you do get, it's a rare concern, but if you do get even touched by a bat, you need to get medical attention, because sometimes a bat can bite you and you don't even realize it, because the scratch is so surface. So I am a huge fan of bats, and they can eat up to 600 mosquitoes in 1 hour. So think about a nighttime of them out and about feasting on those nasty mosquitoes. So that is definitely an option. And traps, I found this link, the Survivalist blog, that has a great trap. If you see the picture, you'll be awed about how many mosquitoes they were able to trap in this one container. It's a combination, I think, of yeast, maybe brewer's yeast or some kind of yeast with sugar. And mosquitoes love that yeasty smell, and they're drawn into the trap. So definitely you might want to look at that. It's something you could put a few out in your backyard. And using netting. This is a great one. My brother and his wife actually had a terrible mosquito problem. They live out in Austin, and they couldn't sit by the pool because the mosquitoes were just eating them alive. So they, around their pool table, eating area, they actually have an umbrella over their table, and they put some weighted netting around it, and it really made a huge difference. And they don't have a problem with mosquitoes, at least while they're within that netting area, because they live up against some green space. So there's lots of mosquitoes and difficult to control. Okay, how do we do personal prevention? Of course, that's cut off as well. Let's see if I can move this up a little bit. Oops, well, went on to the next page. So here's our personal prevention. Avoid beer and eat garlic. So beer, remember I was talking about the yeast in the mosquito trap. Mosquitoes love that yeasty smell. So beer tends to make people, I guess, smell a little bit yeasty, and the mosquitoes are attracted. So stay away from beer. Find something else to consume when you're outside, and eat garlic. They don't like the smell of garlic, apparently. Vitamin B1, which is also called thiamine, is my favorite solution for mosquitoes. It really works for me. I'm a mosquito magnet. I can walk from the back door to the car, very short distance, and have 4 mosquito bites on me. Some people just have that smell that mosquitoes are attracted to. And vitamin B1 does the trick for me. It's actually what is given very frequently in Africa to the people that work in the lodges, the safari lodges, to help keep mosquitoes away from them, the malaria mosquitoes. So if you take B1, I typically recommend 100 milligrams for about up to a 150-pound person, and then you can increase from there. If you take B1, though, take a B complex with it, because they all work together. And if you take one B vitamin without the entire complex. It can offset the balance of all those B vitamins. So like I said, 100 milligrams of B1. I take a B complex every day. In fact, I've found that now the B complex I take is strong enough that I don't even have to take extra B1 typically. It'll last for about 4 hours, so it's not all day long. B1 is a water-soluble vitamin. So, make sure you bring it with you if you're going to be out all day, and test it out first. But it seems to be very effective for many, many people. Mosquitoes don't like light-colored clothing and wear loose clothing, so they can bite through clothing. So if you're wearing a light-colored clothes, but it's all up against your skin, you'll get stung through the skin or bitten through the skin anyway. So linens, things like that would be good to wear. High-salt foods alter your body's pH, similar to the beer issue, and it makes the mosquitoes drawn to you, and so does sweating. And of course, there's the salt in the sweating. So make sure if you're out, running around sweating, shower off before you go sit somewhere where you might get eaten up by mosquitoes. Apple cider vinegar, excuse me, is another thing that mosquitoes apparently don't like. Internally, people take it internally for many, many things, but it might help ward off mosquitoes as well. Externally, I don't know that I've ever put it on my entire body, so it might dry your skin out. That's just a warning. But if you are into trying things like that, it might be something to try. Lemon eucalyptus is my favorite natural repellent in terms of, something that you can put externally. It's been studied widely. It's actually talked about in the EPA. It's given approval by the EPA. It needs to be 30% lemon eucalyptus to be effective, and it's not recommended for children under 3 years old, and that's not because it's harmful to children under 3 years old. They just haven't studied it well enough to know if it's okay. So it is a natural essential oil. Just because a bug spray says lemon eucalyptus on it doesn't mean it's not bad for you. So always, always, always look at the labels. So something can say it's got natural ingredients, but it can also have some very, very toxic non-natural ingredients as well. So my recommendation is to get some pure lemon eucalyptus oil and mix it up yourself and use that as a repellent, or put it in with your lotion. Obviously, you're not going to want to put thick lotion on in the summer heat, but if you have a real thin lotion, you could put it on that way. And again, with children, be very careful, and also don't let it get in your eyes. It would probably burn pretty badly. Okay, so what do you do when you get a bug bite? Because we're eventually or inevitably going to be bitten by mosquitoes. This poor little girl has one on her cheek. We've all seen this. There are a few different things that you can do. If I can get to the next slide, I'll tell you. There we go. Again, apple cider vinegar, the cure-all. Many people swear by this for everything. But apple cider vinegar, you can put a little bit on a cotton ball and rub that on. That can take away the sting. You can make a paste with baking soda and water. Lavender and tea tree oil both work really well. Lavender is just great to carry around with you anyway. Just a little lavender in your purse can calm people down. It works well for headaches, but you can just put it directly on the bite, and it's very soothing. It's great for burns as well. It's anything where the skin isn't opened, anytime there's an irritation but the skin isn't opened, you can put lavender directly on. A lemon slice is great for bug bites. The inside of a banana peel, in case you just happen to have one in your pocket, banana peel that is, and Xing the bite. That's my favorite one, actually, Xing the bite. So you just use your fingernails, if you can see in this picture, and make an X over the bite. I have no idea why that works, but it seems to take the sting out of the bite, and the bite heals very, very quickly. So I would recommend trying that. Okay, so the next webinar, I hope you'll join me, is on the dangers of chemical mosquito sprays. A lot of things that you might not know about. And we also are going to talk about where you might unknowingly be getting exposed to these sprays and how to combat the toxins, what you can do to help protect your body and your family's body from the negative effects of these mosquito sprays. So I appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.